With the contracts, interested to know if you're happy to share. I'm not too sure. I heard some horror stories where women were getting paid less than minimum wage and, having to go back to work. I think you even just mentioned it earlier where women were putting money back into the company if they were missing time. Are you happy to speak about it? Can you be quite open about it?
Yeah. I mean, we'll find out after this if I get a message.
But I think it's important.
I think it's important. I always talk openly about it because if it was anything to hide, we'd be getting paid more. Because it's out there. They're not saying don't be telling people what you paid. Don't be telling what it is, because at the end of the day, that's how I pay. So
without saying names, what would be a highest paid player professionally, and what would be a lowest paid player?
I think the highest band's so it's different to the men's. So you contracted centrally with England, and then you've got your subcontract with your club, as opposed to the men's. It's how I believe it's essentially with your club, and then you get paid per match and stuff with England. So the top band, I think, is 35k for England, and then it goes down to 27. Yeah, so it's ABC. 35, 33, 27, I think.
And you get paid by your club on top?
Yeah, but that's that's not much. That's not livable. If I wasn't with England, I wouldn't be able to live on my club pay at all.
Do some girls have to?
Yeah, the girls that are not professional. So in the Quins, not in any team, there's some clubs that don't pay at all, and you're there and you're just playing because you love it. But the majority of the girls are turning up to training in their police gear, their dentist gear. They've just come from the 9 to 5 job. They turn up to training, they do a gym session, they do the training session, and we don't finish till 9:30 at night. And then we go home, and then you start the day again in the morning. Some girls are waking up at 5 a.m. to go again, and hats off to them. I would not be able to do that. But then how do you, the argument and the thing that needs to stop is, how do you then expect it to ever get towards what the men are like? Because imagine doing a 9 to 5, being a policeman, right? And or even earlier, probably earlier than that, then turning up and having then try put all your energy, the reserves of energy that you've got left, into training, getting better in the gym and being stronger and stopping yourself getting injured, more importantly, but then also getting stronger and faster and fitter so that the game can move on and be that faster rugby that everybody wants to see. How do you do that when we're not able to put everything? I'm not lucky. I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I'm a professional rugby player, and I start training at 2:00 in the afternoon and I finish at 9:30 at night. And yeah, it's late nights and stuff, but I then have the opportunity to wake up a little bit later if that's what I need to do, and put all my recovery in the morning so I can train hard the next day. These girls don't get that opportunity, and some of the girls are on peanuts.
Yeah, it's 30 years ago, like the men's game was. 30 years.
Peanuts. One of the girls I was talking to the other day said that her boyfriend was offered something like 33k, and that was for Doncaster, which is a champ team. And I was like, that's more than international women get playing for England. And it just shows the difference, I guess. That is the balance of how do you make it something that people can live off. Some of the girls get £200 a month playing for a club, and that you can't do anything with that. That's fuel. Some of the girls, it fuels more, so then they're going into the pocket to play for the club. So how do you then better that? So that's why we're pushing. You've got to keep on pushing, and I guess the better we become as players internationally, and the more successful we are, the more funding we'll get into it, and the more bums we get on seats, the more funding we get. So everyone knows how it works. If we can sell more tickets, we can get more money, and if we can get more money, you can invest more. We're not stupid. We're not saying pay is the same as the men, but something needs to change to make that development happen. So you don't have a semi-professional prem that you're picking girls to go internationally from. It needs to all be professional, because that is how you grow the gap between the prem and international. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's why that just carries on from the Lions chat, doesn't it? The Lions isn't just the team. You're going to have to put together a load of management who I imagine are going to be on 40, 50, 60. They might be part time. I don't know, but it's a huge investment. So you've heard it here. The powers that be put the money back into the women's game and their pockets, effectively.
And the thing is, the best thing is you'll see change straight away. Like, it's not one of those things that you think, put money in and you're not going to see it for a few years. If you've got a team, a Prem team, that then can train like a 8 till 4, and you finish training at 4, you go to the sauna, you go to the pool, you eat at the right time, and you go to bed at 9. You recovered, you wake up in the morning. I'm at the moment not getting back from training till about 11 o'clock at night, and then I'm cooking, I'm letting the dog out, and I'm going to sleep around 12, half 12. So
because the women are working all day.
Well, yeah, so we've got to train later so that everyone can get to training. And like, there's sometimes that girls can't get to training. So on a Monday and Tuesday, we're normally short with numbers because, well, we train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Monday's always short of numbers, but it's because the girls are working. So how do you then do 15 on 15? You can't even do 15 on 15 in training at clubs sometimes because there's commitments outside of it that people have got to do. So that's where I always keep thinking, how does that change? But then the investment needs to be, like, it needs to be good because you've got girls that have worked their whole lives to be in the jobs that they're in right now. And if it's not going to be good pay, they're not going to say no, because it's not like the men's where you're in an academy from 13 and you know the way that you're going to go, you know the pay that you're going to be getting. These girls, some girls don't start rugby till they're 23. I'm 23 now. Some girls don't start till they're 23. So they've got a career set up. Then they come to rugby and then they might go back to the career after. I'm fortunate that all I've known is rugby. So I'm not saying it's a million miles away because everyone always talks about the women's game and, you know, like people having to work as well as do that, people having to have two things going at one time. But I like to reflect to say we have got an insight of what it is like. I came out of school and was straight into professional rugby like men would be. So there's elements of that, like, it is happening. It's just happening slowly, and it needs to be like going on a bigger scale to really make the game like grow. I'd love to be on pitch training skills. We do like 2 till 3 we do skills, and you've got probably like 14, 15 people there, because if you're not at work, you're at uni, and if you're not at either of them, there's some other commitment that you haven't been able to get to, and that's when like the core skills you get better at, the kicking, the passing, the shapes that we run and everything. That's how the game will develop. But you can only do so much in an hour and a half, 2 hour session in the evening. So yeah, that's where the gap needs to close.